Cross-cultural studies have been specifically conducted in educational context, extending the field of research from communication and management styles into teaching and learning styles. Let's see some examples about how cultural dimensions or values orientations can be used to explain different teaching and learning styles. For instance, Hofstede cultural dimension power distance is defined as the extent to which the less powerful members of organizations, institutions, and society in general accept and expect that power is distributed unequally. Therefore, a higher degree of this index indicates that hierarchy is clearly established and executed in society, and this is accepted without doubt or reason. While a lower degree of the index signifies that people question authority and attempt to distribute power. In countries characterized by a high power distance index, such as Asian countries, African or Middle East countries, or Latin American countries, the education system reflects this high power distance in the classroom. It is largely a teacher-centered system. Teachers are expected to lead the class, and learners expect to be told what to do or how to do it. Therefore, students show a silent or a more passive approach in class because teachers are respected and should not be challenged or contradicted, and a two-way communication with teacher is discouraged. Individualism versus collectivism index explores the degree to which people are integrated into groups in a society. Individualistic societies have lost certain of these ties, and an individual often relates only to his/her immediate family. They emphasize the I versus the we, and the importance of individual identity, human rights, and needs rather than those of the group. Individualistic culture promotes self-sufficiency and personal autonomy. Collectivist societies are characterized by tightly integrated relationships among people. They include extended families and friends into they in groups. Caring for each other and loyalty are the most important factors in collective culture. Conflicts with others or face-shaming situations tend to be avoided. On the contrary, they tend to value social harmony. What are the consequences in the educational context? Students who grew up in an individualistic society are more likely to feel free to speak in class and are encouraged to learn by discovering and to ask questions. These strategies tend to encourage students to become independent thinkers and doers, concentrating on their own individual needs and innovative approaches to problem solving. Even disagreement with one's teachers is perceived as part of the learning. Students are motivated to be involved in a self-centered learning process. On the contrary, in collectivist societies, students tend to adopt a more passive role toward learning, and teaching is rather teacher-centered. Sharing opinions and knowledge is reserved for people with a higher status. Long-term orientations versus short-term orientation dimensions associates the connection of the past with the current and future actions or challenges. A lower degree in this index, a short-term orientation, indicates that traditions are honored and kept, while steadfastness is valued. while societies with a high degree in this index, a long-term orientation, view adaptation and circumstantial pragmatic problem-solving as a necessity. With regard to short-term orientation, the education systems tends to not encourage students to realize the benefit of self-deep learning. The emphasis tends to be on practice and good behaviors regarding the traditions of the culture. Education is a source of information, and the context of education is to create long-lasting relationships which will be profitable in the future, both at professional and personal level. Students may concentrate on their grades and on getting their certification as their goal. Learning is more often seen as one-time process which occurs mainly in the classroom. Learning evaluation is based on closed-book examinations in which learners are required to remember information to pass examinations rather than to understand this knowledge to serve longer-term purposes. In a long-term oriented culture, students may perceive the long-term goal as obtaining a good understanding of the subject and hence work towards this goal. Teachers encourage them to make a lot of effort in achieving the goals and in keeping a long life-term learning orientation. For many universities and teachers, the internationalization of higher education practices means adopting a more Anglo-Saxon or English or US teaching style, which means in the end more class interaction. Students are invited to interact more actively in class through class activities or team working activities, exercise or projects.